Number 87. Penumbra, Black Plague. Like the previous entry in this Mega Pants list, Penumbra Black Plague is the second entry in the Penumbra series, and the only one on AdventureGamers.com's list of the top 100 adventure games of all time. This would indicate that it's the best of the series, only this time, the game is good enough to actually make me want to play the other games, if only to get the whole story. On a technical level, once again, it's GOG to the rescue. You can get the whole Penumbra collection for just $10, and it works great on my Windows 7 machine. I'm not getting Windows 10, Microsoft. Buzz off. Let's get right into it, and I ordinarily try to keep these vids spoiler-free, but some things are so powerful that I really want to talk about them, so if you're already interested in checking this game out, you may want to stop the video now. Otherwise, let's press on and talk about why this is one of the best games I've played in a while. Black Plague starts out with your character Philip writing an email to someone, filling them in on what happened during the first game, and about to tell them what happened during this one. You wake up in a cell with little clue as to how you got there, with just a note, a coin, and some horrifying sounds to keep you company. As you escape and explore, you learn that there is a secret society called the Archaic, who unearthed and released a virus of some kind that slowly takes over a person's mind, eventually mentally and physically mutating them into zombie-like creatures with looped penises. I don't know, what the hell would you call that? As you continue, you learn two more things. Your father is involved somehow, and you yourself are infected with the same virus. Shortly thereafter, you succumb to the virus, but after successfully navigating a hellish, Silent Hill-esque alternate reality in your own head, you wake up having fought off the virus to some degree. You're still infected, and the virus even starts talking to you in the voice of a New York City cabbie for some reason.
So much storage in this mind of yours. Did you realize you got an entire section in here devoted to film titles? 3,103 and a half films you've seen? You only got the first half of It's a Wonderful Life in here. Huh, how does it end? Now I'll never know.
And he names himself Clarence, but Clarence has minimal power over you, though it can still exert some physical control, which gets harrowing during sequences when you're trying to escape from the infected. The virus can also sometimes make you see what it wants you to see, again, to great effect when trying to escape, but also causes a major traumatic event late in the game. Seriously, when it happened, I stopped playing for a minute and just sat there in shock. It was that powerful. Speaking of the voice acting, it sits in this weird space where the characters, especially Amabel, don't sound all that realistic. Having been through what she's been through, she sounds way too calm and collected. But then it kind of adds to the experience. Everything's just a little bit off and unnatural. Having said that, I do believe Clarence's voice doesn't really work. It's a weird choice, like Amabel, but when he's trying to sound threatening and malevolent, he just kind of comes off as thuggish. But Philip and the good doctor who offers to cut his hand off for you both acquit themselves pretty well. The atmosphere in this game is incredible. From the haunting research labs that only appear to be empty, to the caves where the virus was harvested, the design, music, and ambient sound combine to create a palpable sense of unease and isolation that persists throughout the entire game. And thankfully, the game doesn't attempt to keep the scares going non-stop. It wisely spaces them out. You can go for long periods without even seeing an infected. Of course, once you do, it heightens the tension considerably. Speaking of the infected, you can't fight back. There's no combat in this game, at least not in the literal sense. You can only run or hide, which leads to some brilliantly intense stealth sequences and frantic escape sequences. There are only a couple of moments in the game where you need to kill an enemy, and both times you have to use objects in the environment to put them down. Speaking of, most of the puzzles in the game are environmental. The game features Frictional's excellent physics engine, so a lot of puzzles involve picking up in-game objects to use or throw, like using a rock to bash open a locked fuse box, or stacking boxes to climb over an obstacle. It's not terribly difficult, and it usually works really well, though there was one irritating point during the alternate reality sequence where, despite having stacked the barrels high enough, I couldn't jump over the fence, and I had no idea why, and I had to try it again at another part of the fence before I could get past it. And of course, there's a number of inventory puzzles, and you have to manage your light sources, like flashlight batteries and flares, and you can heal yourself with painkillers. The interface isn't ideal, but it's manageable. Penumbra: Black Plague is a thoroughly haunting experience that is only slightly dragged down by an imperfect game. The writing is solid, and the atmosphere and immersion are top-notch, and there are a couple of surprises that left me stunned or in shock, and that's all too rare. I completely agree that it belongs on this list, though it could feasibly be even higher up. It's a great game, looped penises notwithstanding. Seriously, Frictional Games, what the hell?
This all started a few days ago. It was when...
Next up, number 86.
I can hear it. I can hear it.